So I grew my business from $500,000 to in excess of 2.1 million. I got out from the running of the day-to-day of the business, and I went from working probably 60, 80 hours a week to, in the last month, I've probably done less than 3 days in the actual office. You see, I'm a podiatrist and have been for about 15 years, and I remember graduating and spending 4 years learning to be a podiatrist. I had to start work and realise how much I still had to learn. Yet, I was arrogant enough to think I could buy a business and just figure it out. Now, at the stage when I first bought the business, I had no real concept of what I was getting myself into. I thought I'd have more money, more time, more freedom, but it was the complete opposite. And I actually didn't appreciate how good I actually had it when I was an employee, because obviously you get paid a wage, you get paid super, you get paid holidays, none of which I got when I was a business owner. And I realised I knew nothing about systems, I knew nothing about HR, finances, all the other things that come into running a business, and I was still trying to learn my craft as a podiatrist. And so what did? I just tried to work as hard as I could and grow the business, because what I found really demoralising was I couldn't actually take time off. As soon as I took time off, the business actually went backwards, because at that stage it was myself and another podiatrist, and as soon as I went away, the cash flow was hit really, really hard. So the only way I thought to try and resolve this situation was to grow. So I worked harder and harder, and I was probably doing anywhere between 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and over time I put on another podiatrist. And while we were getting bigger, I still couldn't take holidays. I was billing well over 50% of what we were bringing in. Bills still seemed hard to pay. Holidays were non-existent. And so I kept pouring more fuel on the fire and worked harder and harder. And it wasn't long before I probably got to the stage where I had 3 podiatrists working for me. I was still billing over 50%, and I just seemed to be working all day treating, but at nights and weekends trying to do the stuff related to running the business. And look, I was just burning out. I just seemed to be trading time for money, not getting anywhere. And I remember there was a point one weekend where I was sitting in my office and I was looking at the gaps in the diary. I was looking at the wages that were due the following Thursday. I was looking at the bills that were also pending and my bank balance sitting in overdraft. And I remember tears kind of forming in my eyes, because I was faced with the probability or the reality that I was probably going to have to put someone off. And that would have absolutely broken my heart, because I was failing. I was failing me, but I was failing my team, and I was failing my patients, and I really started to struggle under the weight of that pressure that I perceived. And Benson Hedges, red wine, Jack Daniels became kind of like my support mechanisms for me. And I'm not sure if I had depression at that point, but I would say I was pretty close. And I just want to walk away. I got to the stage where it'd been quite a few years now. No matter what I tried, nothing seemed to work. I just seemed to have to work harder and harder, and I just got to the stage where I had nothing left to give. And I just wanted to walk away, but I couldn't, because I had too many people depending on me. I had my team, I had my patients, and so I thought, well, I'll just sell the business. Just sell, and just say, look, I'm a good podiatrist, but I'm not a very good business owner, and I'll probably be better off working for someone else. But I couldn't sell it. It was too heavily built around me. It didn't have any systems, didn't have any structure. I was still billing well over 50% of what the business was bringing in, so there was no real asset to sell. So fortunately, I had friends who talked about, there's people out there who can help with coaching and that sort of thing. And so I knew I needed help, and I didn't want a cookie cutter approach to helping my business. I wanted to work with someone who could understand me, understand my business, understand the industry that I was in. And so I started looking, and I couldn't really find anyone. And I remember actually sitting across the table with a friend of mine one day having a coffee, and I actually kind of let my guard down, and because he was asking how things were going, and I let my guard down and kind of really told him how it was. And it's always embarrassing to actually kind of say it out loud, because you kind of bottle these things in, and you're a bit embarrassed to share it with people. And I was telling him where I was at, and I remember he got this kind of grin on his face. I'm thinking, what are you smiling at? And he said, look, I know someone that can help you. And for the first time in a long, long time, I always kind of felt like this, this levity or glimmer of hope kind of pop up. And we talked. And he basically told me he was working with someone by the name of Greg Gunther, and I said, look, introduce me to this guy. I really need help. So I remember, a few years ago now, Greg and I caught up for a coffee, and straight away I had just a great feeling about this fella. He actually really seemed to care and want to help. He took the time to understand me, understand my business, and just let me talk, ask all the right questions. I felt very comfortable straight away. I talked for a long time, and I just remember thinking, gosh, I hope this guy can help me. And to the point where I actually said, do you think he can help me? And he said, look, I'm sure I can. And just the hope that I got from that was incredible. But I knew my bank account was very much an overdraft, and I was struggling to stay afloat. And so when we talked about the investment required, it wouldn't matter if it was $10 or however much it was. I was at the point where I couldn't afford to do it, but I couldn't afford not to. And so I just said to Greg, look, I'd go away and think about it. And he followed me up a couple of weeks later, which is good, because I was probably a bit fearful about making a commitment. And what that fear was based upon, I don't really know. But after talking to Greg, I thought, no, I need to do this. And it's probably the best decision I've ever made. Greg and I have been on just a terrific journey as we've worked together on me and on my business. And he helped me realise that the way I was showing up, the way I was leading, was the business was a reflection of that. So he taught me, even though I was a good and very good podiatrist, I was actually a pretty lousy business owner. So he helped me understand the psychology and intricacies of actually running a business. He taught me about basically proving myself to actually show up and be the leader this business needed to actually take it forward. Obviously taught me all the things about systems, finances, HR, sales, marketing. But it was really around me changing the way I approached the business, and realised that I had to get out from the day-to-day running of the business and show up as I needed to take it forward. And look, the impact has been profound. When we started working together, as I said, we're probably turning over less than $500,000. Just recently, we've gone past 2.1 million, and we're still trending up. I've gone from working 60, often 70 to 80 hours a week, to now working when I choose to. I stopped treating 3 years ago, which I never thought would ever be possible. Greg actually said, do you think you'd ever want to do that? No, I'll never stop treating. But what I've realised in that journey is I've got so much enjoyment out of actually running my business now, and actually now having the opportunity to start another business where I help other podiatrists run their businesses, improve their lifestyles. And I never would have thought that would be possible. So I now love my business, I love my team, and if you'd asked me a couple of years ago, I never thought that would be possible. I can take holidays, I can be away, and cash flow isn't affected. We've had record profits this year, and I've probably been away more often than compared to when I've actually been here, which has been amazing. Spend time with my family, my friends. I'm there to be a part of my little man growing up. I couldn't actually do that with my daughter. So today, compared to where I was, is chalk and cheese. If I was to be asked, what sort of investment should I make in my business? It is actually to get coaching. It is actually to get help. And Greg Gunther has been probably one of the best investments I've ever made. If Greg and I hadn't started working together, I don't know where I'd be today. And I'm fortunate enough to call Greg now one of my best mates now. Whether you have a business that is going well and you want to take it to another level, you have a business where you feel like it's running you as opposed to you running your business, you want to try and get some more time, get some more money, and have a business that actually operates without you, Greg would be an absolute sure bet to help you achieve that.